Look, I know you're going to enjoy this podcast, so please like, share, save. And a little reminder, Sacred Feminine Pleasure is now open for enrollment. You get a whopping £2,000 off if you enroll before the end of May. So girl, if you want that discount, you want to be around women who are healing together, empowering each other, being in our feminine, divine, elegant, soft girl era, then join Sacred Feminine Pleasure. You're going to master your emotions. You're going to become triggerless. Girl, you're going to be everything you've ever dreamed of and more. Abundance is going to flow your way. You're no longer going to think about the past and who hurt you and what this person did to you. You're going to be forgiving everyone and you're going to move on with your life. You're going to be in your soft girl era, powerful, fierce, ready to take over the world. That's what you want, girl. Head over, click the link in the bio. I'll see you there. Welcome to the Sacred Feminine Diaries. And today I want to talk about what it means to be an alpha woman and in her feminine, be awakened, to feel in flow. And I feel like this is something that a lot of alpha women struggle with, especially since you've been in your masculinity for a very long time. So who is the alpha woman? The alpha woman is independent. She feels like she can't rely on anyone, or she doesn't need to rely on anyone. She's about her bag, her money, very successful, very headstrong, very focused, and always chasing her goals. So with this alpha woman, and you probably identify as an alpha woman because since you were a kid, since childhood, you've had to figure it out yourself. You've had to figure it out. And figuring it out now, the woman that you are right now, kind of numbs you. And it makes you feel really sad that there's no one there to help you in your darkest moments. And this is where the alpha woman can either become numb, cold, and bitter, or she can become awakened. So let's take it back to childhood. Maybe you didn't have a father. Maybe you had to fend for yourself, protect yourself, and even provide for yourself. I want to give you my example. Growing up, I didn't have a father. All I knew was that men were abusive. My father was very violent, very abusive. I grew up in a very violent home. From birth until the age of 4, my father did commit many, many violent acts against my mom. And it created something within me. It created this dark force within me that I'm never going to let anyone in my life hurt me. I'm never going to let myself be that vulnerable to let anyone in to hurt me. And what happened is my body went into survival mode. Now, at the age of 4, I was super aware, super sensitive. My senses were all heightened. I'm hyper aware, hyper vigilant, hyper independent. Because I saw my mom go through so much stress, so much heartache, so much grief, struggle so much, that I thought, I don't want to do this. I don't want to add any more burden to my mom. Let me go and figure it out myself. And this phrase, let me figure it out myself, I just realized a few months ago that I don't want to figure it out myself anymore. So growing up, my body went into survival mode. And my body released the cortisol, the adrenaline. My body has been in survival mode since before I was born, since I was in the womb. I've been able to regress myself to the womb and hear the violence and the pain that my mom went through. So the womb that I was in was super stressed, not safe. It did not feel safe for me when I was conceived and when I was growing in my mother's womb. It did not feel safe, and that was the same for my mom. My mom did not feel safe in her mother's womb, my grandma's womb. So remember epigenetics. They now know that your mother, when she was in your grandma's womb, she had all her eggs with her. So I was with my mom when she was in my grandma's womb. I was the egg there. So I was experiencing my grandma's pain, my mother's pain, and now I'm in a super stressful environment in the womb. So now my body is in survival mode, and all I can think is fight or flight, freeze or fawn. That's the way I'm seeing the world. I'm perceiving the world through the lens of fight or flight, freeze or fawn. I don't see it any other way. So I'm always dodging, I'm always protecting, I'm always trying to figure out, okay, this person, their body language has changed, their energy has changed, their words have changed. What does this mean? Are they going to attack me? I can't be vulnerable. Let me move. Let me cope. Let me figure it out. And I've been doing this my whole life. I've been that ultra independent girl. At the age of 15, I had a job. 16, I had 3 jobs. I put myself through college. I paid for university myself. I've had jobs upon jobs. I've been working since I was 16 because my mom raised me with the belief that you should never rely on a man. Because of her traumas, she had no other choice but to help me figure it out. And the only way that she could help me figure it out was to tell me to go and make your money, get your career, and don't get married. And I remember growing up, my mom used to always say to me, don't get a man. Don't be with a man. And if I ever spoke about a crush at school, she would ignore me. Like, she would punish me by giving me the silent treatment for like a week or 2. I'm telling you, my mom was hardcore. 1 week or 2 weeks, she would not talk to me because I mentioned a crush I had at school. Of course, my mom, because she went through so much abuse as a child, she was sexually abused from birth until the age of 16. She was forced into marriage. She had a plethora of traumas that she never spoke about, never dealt with. So, of course, she had her own narcissistic tendencies. She had severe depression. She had severe mental health issues. And she raised me with love. And I do remember my mom loving me when I was young. But I remember when I hit the age of 9, things changed. Things became tougher. It became challenging to be around my mom. My mom would often ignore me. My mom would often not talk to me. Like, there was a lot of verbal abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse as well. A lot of that happened from the age of 9 until I left home around the age of 17, 16. And that was my mom's motto. Do not get with a man. If you get with a man, I will never speak to you. That's how my mom was. I will never speak to you. And she used to remind me that only hoes get with men. Your goal in life is not to be a hoe. Your goal in life is to be successful. So my mom tried to imprint in me from a very young age be successful. And I understand now, when I look back, I realize why. My mom came from a very affluent family. My grandfather was in the army, and he had a very high position in the army, and they lived a very, very rich life. They moved different places. They lived in Iraq, Iran, Pakistan, India. They lived in Denmark. They went to different places. My mom was a traveler. She never stayed in one place. So, and when she came to the UK, my grandfather bought many homes. He was the owner of many homes. He was able to house his family, his children. He was a breadwinner. He was a provider. My mom loved my grandfather. She loved her dad. She had so much love for him. So when he died, I know that was a big heartache on her. So my mom came from a successful family. But when she met my dad ended up abusing her and taking all her money. My mom was very rich, very successful. She had her own business. She was working with her brother in his restaurant, and she was the accountant. She was very good with money. She knew how to save. She actually had her own house on mortgage, and that all went down the toilet after she met my dad. And I think that's the reason why my mom kept saying to me, don't get with a man. Be successful first. Men are nothing. Men are bad. Men are trash. They don't just want to use you for sex. They'll never commit to you. They'll always harm you. So I had this program running in my mind that men are just shit. Men are trash. So imagine growing up with that mindset, forcing yourself into your masculinity. I was literally forced into my masculinity. And the most funny thing is, when I was young, my mom used to always challenge me. So I remember at the age of 5, and she only did this with me. Like, I come from a family of 8. I have 2 sisters and I have 5 brothers. 2 passed away. So I lived with 3 brothers and 2 sisters. But I was the only one that she would challenge. So when I was 5 or 6, she used to make me read the Oxford Dictionary. She would pick out a word and she would say to me, write a sentence with that word. Because she used to say to me, if you don't know the language of your enemy, you will never win. And I don't know why she used to say that to me. Learn the language of your enemy. Learn the language of your colonizers. Learn the language of the people who have colonized you. You need to play them at their own game. This is what she's always saying to me. I was like, okay, Mom, you're the boss here. Let me listen to you. So she used to always make me find a word, like big words. Like I know some big words when I was young, and people used to laugh at me thinking, oh my God, you're such a geek. But that's because my mom just wanted me to be educated. And this is how she actually educated herself. My mom, she was never allowed to have a education. She was forced out of school. So she only had a primary school education. So she only went to school until she was 9 or 10. Then after that, she was forced to stay at home to raise her siblings with her mom. So my mom used to sneak off to the library to read Dennis Menace comics, and she taught herself how to read and write. So she wanted to impart that skill onto me. So every day from the age of 5, I would read books. I read the encyclopedia, girl. The encyclopedia, the children's encyclopedia at the age of 6 to 7. It took me a year and a half. I remember starting when I was 6. I finished when I was 8. So every day I would read one page, if I could, just one page. And I learned so much. And this is so interesting as well. This is so off topic, but this is what made me fall in love with culture, because I didn't know where I came from when I was young. All I knew was that I have tanned skin and the kids at school bully me because they think I'm supposed to be Pakistani, but I'm not Pakistani. I really don't know what I am. When I asked my mom says, just say you're Pakistani. Just so you fit in, just say you're Pakistani. And then my mom would try and teach me Urdu, because my mom knew 5 languages. She knew how to speak Farsi, Pashto, Urdu, Gujarati, and Punjabi, I think she knew how to speak a bit of Punjabi. So she would try and give me some words to say in Urdu so that, people wouldn't bully me at school. So I would say some words and be like, oh yeah, you are Pakistani. Like, you're so, like, cultured. You're so uncultured. You're so Gauri. They used to call me Gauri, like the white girl, the white Pakistani. And I was like, I'm not Pakistani though. I have no Pakistani culture. When I go home, I eat bangers and mash. I have chicken roast on Sunday. I am not Pakistani. We celebrate Christmas. I have a tree in my, the teachers used to donate the tree to my mom. I have a Christmas tree on the 25th of December. I don't know what I am. I'm just going along with the flow. I don't know where I come from, but I just know I'm not Pakistani, okay? Because being around Pakistani people, I just knew I wasn't, because I had no culture. I didn't identify with their culture. So they thought I was Pakistani because of the color of my skin. But then some of them would say that I look black. Some of them would say I don't Asian at all. So when I used to read the encyclopedia, I was so in love with the Aboriginal culture. Oh my gosh. I would read, and we had another encyclopedia called the Britannia Encyclopedia. And I would read that, and I would find the indigenous tribes. I was in love with indigenous tribes. I knew about indigenous tribes way before it became a thing. Like, it's 2023. Now people are talking about indigenous people. I have been knowing about indigenous people since I was 6 or 7. I used to read about the Aborigines, about the people in the Amazon rainforest, Peru, the Polynesians. And you know what? When I used to read, I was like, these are my people. And people used to call me Aboriginal. They go, you look Aboriginal. When I was a kid, when I was younger, I looked Aboriginal. I looked like the Melanesian people. If you Google Melanesian, I look like them, but I just didn't have blonde hair and blue eyes. But I look at the picture, I'm like, that's me. So I used to go to school, and when people say, what are you? I'll be like, I'm an Aborigine. They go, what? You're an Aborigine? What's that? I'm like, look it up. So I used to be clever with these people. Like, I didn't know where I was from. I used to make up cultures all the time. I'm Mauritius, because I had a Mauritius auntie. My uncle got married to a Mauritian woman. I'm Mauritius. I had Italian cousins. I'm Italian. Like, I just did not know who I was. I was picking countries because I was reading about them. I was like, must be this must be me. Like, I do identify with the culture. Like, I do eat pizza, so I must be Italian. Or, I used to say, oh, I do, like, I like being out in the bushes. Like, I like, building. We used to build tree houses, like, in the bushes. I like doing this. So I must be Aboriginal. Like, who am I? When I used to ask my mom this, my mom would not tell me. And I don't know why. I think what happened is, this is my theory. This has not been confirmed, but this is my theory, that My family, when Britain was sending free planes to Pakistan, I believe my family pretended to be Pakistani. I just believe that. I believe they forged the documents, because my granddad did forge documents for my mom to come to the country and be able to get married young. But I do believe that they forged documents to pretend that they're Pakistani so that they could get a free ride to the UK. I just genuinely believe that, because when my grandfather completed Hajj, he went to Iraq, and then he changed his surname to Kablai. Now, obviously, people say that you're Kablai if you finish your Hajj in the Shia religion. That you're Kablai if you finish Hajj. But he actually changed his name to Kablai. Like, he went to cut the town in Iraq, where he comes from, and he just changed his name there, and then they changed the name to Saeed. So I don't know. That's my theory. I don't speak to my family. But anyways, that's my theory. But I did actually speak to my auntie. When I was younger, my older auntie came to visit us a few times, and she was like, we're Iranians. I was like, okay, that makes sense. This was when I was like 19. She finally told us that we're not Pakistani, we're Iranians. I was like, oh, okay. Now we're getting there. Okay, this makes sense. Iranian. And that's when I went on this hunt to figure out what I am. Anyways, going back to my childhood. So I would fake being different cultures just to piss people off. I loved it. And this is how my mom raised me. My mom raised me with this mindset. She used to challenge me all the time to keep going, to just keep being better, to be different. There's nothing wrong with being different. My mom used to always say to me, Rose, kids bully in school because you are different. You don't look like them. You don't act like them. You have charm. You have charisma. You have this confidence that they want. That's why they're bullying you. They want to take away your light. Don't let them take away your light. Mom used to always say this to me, don't let them take away your light. Go back the next day with your head held high and show them what you're about. Do not let anyone ever bully you out of your spot. Ever. These are my mother's words. I'm passing them on to you. Do not let anyone take you off your spot. Okay? My mom used to say that to me. You have charm, you have charisma, you have confidence. Confidence that they wish they had. They come from homes that are broken, and you may come from a broken home, but your mama ain't trying to break you. Your mama is trying to uplift you. So these are Mama Rosie's words. Do not let anyone take you off your spot. Claim your spot, girl. Claim it. So, now that I've grown up hyper independent, I'm an alpha woman now. I don't need no man. Girl, who needs a man? I don't need no man. This was me from the age of 16. I don't need no man. And of course, I ended up in relationships that were very toxic because I did not need a man. So if I don't need a man and I'm with a man, of course it's going to be toxic because I don't need a man. The relationships I ended up in are a manifestation of the belief that I don't need a man. And it kept reconfirming the relationships that I don't need a man. Like, I was engaged from the age of 16 to the age of 20. That relationship proved to me that I don't need a man. It proved my subconscious belief, right? So when I reverted to Islam, that's when I realized, okay, it's time to get actually married. So I got married at the age of 21. And when I was at university, I was finishing my law degree. And again, I still had that belief, I don't need a man, men are trash. And although I tried to be a submissive wife, and I'll be honest, I was trying to be a submissive wife, but I did have toxic traits, of course. Like, I wasn't perfect. I had a ton of stuff going on within me, traumas, daddy issues, you can name all of them. I had that. And that marriage was a manifestation of that. It was a manifestation of that belief that I'm not good enough and I don't need a man. And the most funniest thing is, I started repeating the pattern of my mom. History always repeats itself. Despite my mom telling me that don't get with a man, and of course, mom didn't speak to me for 6 months. Let me tell you this. My mom found out I got married. I told her I'm getting married. She was like, what? To this guy? He's not the right guy. My mom, no, I'm just going to get married. She was like, okay, you do your thing. And she did not speak to me for 6 months. Then we got back in touch. Everything was fine. And it was like, and I had reverted, and my mom wasn't happy that I was covering myself, because I used to model. I used to always be wearing my tight dresses and do my hair and get my nails done. I didn't get my nails done, no. I used to go tanning. My thing was tanning. So get tanned. I used to get my hair cut. Used to always dye my hair, do different things to my hair, put extensions in. I was always that type of girl that was trying to look different. And because I just covered one day, my mom just did not accept that. Because she thought I was doing it for a man. Again, because in my mom's world, women do things for men. and they become submissive for men. And that's the worst thing you can do if you're an independent woman. So my marriage was literally a history repeating itself of what happened with my mom and my dad. And then I realized, oh wow, I'm literally trying to fix my dad through my ex, through this guy. And it was in that moment that I realized I can't do this anymore. So we divorced, and obviously all my pregnancies were very stressful. All my pregnancies, the 3 pregnancies I had, extremely stressful. My kids were born in a womb that was very stressful, and alhamdulillah, I know how to do abundance rewiring. I know how to clear that trauma in their minds and their bodies. Alhamdulillah, they're very happy, amazing kids. They have no anxiety, no ADHD, no issues whatsoever. Like, my children are very focused because of the work that I do, the inner work. I'm constantly doing the inner work with them, helping them clear their subconscious mind, helping them release traumas. And we're also going through SOS therapy. So they have an amazing lifestyle. And I always say thanks to my mom for making me independent, because I'm able to research, I'm able to figure things out. Despite having such a traumatic childhood and not feeling like I could rely on anyone, the benefits of being hyper independent is like, I know where to go when I need help. I know what to do, where to go, how to do it. The ball is always rolling.